Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make Swedish meatballs with mushroom gravy. Swedish meatballs, perhaps the country's most famous culinary item, are actually based on the recipe brought back from Turkey in the early 18th century by King Charles XII of Sweden. They are a part of both traditional holiday meals and staple in everyday home cooking. So what makes them different? Swedish meatballs are typically smaller in size than Italian meatballs, and they are usually made with a 50-50 ratio of ground meats. Today I will use 450 grams of ground beef and 450 grams of ground veal. The veal could be substituted for either chicken or pork, but ground beef is a must. To the meats, we're going to add 75 grams, which is about 3/4 of a cup of plain bread crumbs. 1 medium red onion, finely chopped. I just ran mine through a small food processor because I wanted to have a little bit more of that onion juice. 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh parsley. Then 1 large or 2 small fresh eggs, and these are the freshest they can be because I have a friend who gives them to me and she has chickens. For seasoning, we're gonna add half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, which is about 10 cranks of your pepper mill, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, and then we're gonna go into our spices. Let's add some spices, shall we? Ground allspice, which is a really flavorful spice. We're gonna need a half a teaspoon of that. Then ground nutmeg, we're gonna need a half a teaspoon. Then onion powder, we're gonna need 1 whole teaspoon of onion powder. Then garlic powder, we're also gonna need 1 full teaspoon of garlic powder. Then we're gonna put some gloves and we're gonna start mixing. We're gonna mix it very thoroughly because the breadcrumbs are dry, all the spices are distributed not evenly, so we need to get this mix to very even consistency. So just keep mixing until you see there are no more dry spots from the breadcrumbs. Then we're gonna cover it with Serrano wrap and place it in refrigerator for about 10 minutes so things can get settled in there and also marinate. When you take your meatball mix out of the fridge, you will notice it became firmer. It's because the breadcrumbs soaked up all the juices and also changed in color a little bit. It's due to all the spices we added to it. Now we're ready to roll our meatballs, and meatballs are usually made about a walnut size, so I'm using 1 tablespoon ice cream scoop to make them. Now we need to fry them on all the sides. In a large skillet, we're gonna add 2 to 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil. We're gonna heat it up really well and we're gonna drop our meatballs in there. And try not to crowd them too much because we're gonna do some rolling action here with tossing meatballs so they can get fried on all the sides. As soon as they fried on one side, you're just gonna start shaking your frying pan so they can roll onto the other side, and just continue frying them until you fry the whole batch. After they've been fried on all the sides and look pretty browned, we're gonna take them out and continue frying the next batch until we fry them all. Pre-frying is done so we could seal all the juices inside the meatballs and they come out very nice and tender. Swedish meatballs are usually steamed in a simple white gravy, but I've decided I'm gonna do a mushroom gravy today. To a large chicken fryer cast iron, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil and 30 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna melt the butter and we're gonna drop our 2 cups of finely chopped mushrooms. The key here is to fry up the mushrooms. As you can see, they will create a lot of juices. We need to get rid of all the juices and continue frying them up so they crispen up a little bit. At that point, we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of flour. And here's for you to decide how thick or thin you want your gravy. But 4 tablespoons is a perfect amount for the amount of liquid I'm gonna be using. We need to cook the flour along with the mushrooms for a couple minutes. Then we're gonna add 900 milliliters of organic beef broth. And then it looks like it's a lot of lumps in there. We're just gonna start moving our spoon rapidly so we can break all the lumps in the gravy. And as a magic, it's gonna turn into very nice, silky and smooth gravy. When your gravy is gonna come to a full boil, you will see that it's gonna thicken up dramatically. We just need to mix it. And at this point, we're gonna add 100 milliliters, which is a half a cup of heavy cream. We're just gonna mix it around, and we're gonna flavor our gravy at this point. When all the liquids are added, we're gonna add half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and also 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And here is another very important ingredient. We're gonna freshly ground nutmeg. We need about 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg. We're gonna mix it all around, and at this point we're gonna drop all the cooked meatballs into our gravy. We're just gonna distribute them evenly so they're all covered with the gravy. We're gonna put it on simmer and cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now let's see what happens after we open the lid. And as you can see, here is a very slow simmering, and your gravy have even thickened up more, and it became just nice and silky and beautiful. Now we're ready to serve. And Swedish meatballs are usually served with either mashed potatoes or noodles. So we're gonna load our mashed potatoes on the plate, then just pile some of the Swedish meatballs and mushroom gravy. And traditionally, some lingonberry jam is added. Then just sprinkle a little bit of fresh parsley, and look how great those are. What a perfect meal! I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!